Hello everyone, tonight on the program, as businesses grapple with cyber attacks, just how exposed are Ghanaian businesses, we will discuss. Also coming up, frustration at the Kotoka International Airport over, while Ghana Link says it's fixed challenges with scanners that cause delays in clearing goods.
As of yesterday in the afternoon, the scanner came back on stream. It's working as fine as it should. And so as of today, there is no problem at the airport.
Also in this bulletin, National Petroleum Authority sets up committee to review price deregulation policy following growing industry concerns, a move that will check price abuse by oil marketing companies.
The goal of the committee is to generally review the policy and see if there are problems that have to be resolved. Naturally, with every policy, its implementation will come with challenges, and one of them is what we've mentioned, the price undercutting. It's one of the things we are looking at to see how we can put in measures to make sure that OMCs and BDCs are operating within the framework that they are supposed to work.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. My name is Darryl Kwao. Details right after this. Some interesting stats for us to begin with tonight. 43% of cyber attacks are aimed at businesses, but only 14% are prepared to defend themselves, according to Accenture 2020 report. Now, just imagine Amazon was targeted with a denial of service attack earlier this year. The company was down a little over an hour, but the total losses were somewhere around $75 million. Now, in this age of digitalization, if you're a business owner, you should be concerned, and that's why a management consultancy company in Novari is organizing an executive insight conference on the business value of cybersecurity. I'm joined by CK Bruce, who is the chief executive of Novari. Great to have you tonight on our program. I cited the example of Amazon, and that may seem far away, but tell me how much of a threat cyber attacks are to Ghanaian businesses, especially during this time when the country is pushing the digitalization agenda.
I mean, it's massive. There's a massive threat to organizations all over the world, and Ghana is not excluded. Okay, a lot of Ghanaian companies have had ransomware attacks, but it hasn't been put into the public domain. But yes, there are a myriad of various cyber attacks which are hitting Ghanaian companies.
What's the nature of the attacks?
Ransomware seems to be very much on the rise. Okay, I mean, hitherto malware, or what most people will say viruses, there wasn't a revenue generation mechanism linked to it. Okay, so previously you can be infected by a virus. Well, nothing. You would just buy antivirus or get rid of it. But now with ransomware, they will lock up your data, lock it up, and then you need to pay a ransom for the encryption key or the key to decrypt your data. So it has become quite lucrative, very lucrative. And I'm sure you would appreciate that criminals, anything that is lucrative, anything that is easy, because the fact that it's over the internet gives them some good level of anonymity. So they are able to perpetrate this very unscrupulous act. Okay, so it is growing. It is hitting us, and there's no doubt that if companies do not do the right things, they will be hit.
And what surprises me about the Accenture report I just told our audience about is that only 14% of businesses are prepared to defend themselves against such attacks. Why is that so? A lack of sensitization, or they just don't care?
It's funny, okay? And it seems as if organizations are waiting for regulation to, to push them to do it. I'm sure maybe you've, in the past or some of your program, you've spoken about the Bank of Ghana directive, which was promulgated in 2018 for the banking industry. Okay.
Yeah.
So companies seem to wait for regulation, and that is the whole essence of this event, to try and drive home that there is some business value in doing this. So you don't need to wait for regulation. You need to put your house in order now. Okay, you need to be proactive and realize the risks, and realize the risks to your business, and start putting in the right processes, putting in the right controls to ensure that any ransomware attack, any cyber attack will not be catastrophic to your organization.
Okay, so let's talk a bit more about the Executive Insight Conference, for which reason we are having this conversation. What more should we be looking forward to?
Well, the whole essence of this event is that we want to talk to the business executives, not to the technical people, okay? It seems that, to most people, that cybersecurity is a technical problem. So with a technical problem, then you need a technical solution, okay? Once you have that thought process, then you are way off, okay? Let me put this into perspective. You can spend $100,000 on a firewall, which is solid, which does everything. But remember that there's a human being who administrates that firewall. So if I am going to try and penetrate your organization, I'm not going to target the firewall. I will target the person who is managing the firewall, and that will give me very, very easy access if the person is not well conditioned, if the person doesn't have the right controls, the right processes around him, the right environment for the person to be able to do the administration properly. And that is where the vast majority of the problem is. Companies are looking at cybersecurity as a technical problem. It is not. It is a management problem.
All right. And so who is going to be speaking at the event?
Well, we have some powerful speakers. We have Mr. Ebo Richardson. Ebo Richardson has a lot of experience in, IT, cybersecurity, general management. He's from APSA. He's the chief enabling officer from APSA. We also have now Adoko Kujo. She's a risk practitioner, a risk professional, masses of experience. And then we have Mr. Carl Saki. Carl Saki too is very experienced in information security, cybersecurity, and risk and governance. So together, I think they have over 100 years of experience, which they're bringing to bear to be able to articulate the business side of all that we are talking about. We need to stop articulating the technical side. Always it is seen as a technical problem, okay? We all know that IT is a support to business. We need to talk about the business side of it, the real business value of all that, of all cybersecurity and everything else.
All right, so this conference is taking place on Friday, the 20th of August at the Labadi Beach Hotel. You tell me that it's targeted at businesses. Can they attend for free? How can they be a part of it?
Well, there is some small cost to it because, you know, the venue, the other logistics around it, and the fact that we want these top executives to feel comfortable and to feel, well within the right kind of environment, which is aimed at top executives. So yes, there is some cost to it, but I think when they talk to the sales people for the event, very good deals can be secured.
And it's beneficial for their businesses as well. Just final one, what are your expectations at the end of the day? What kind of impact are you hoping to make?
Well, the main impact that I think that we should be able to gain is that top executives, CEOs, general managers, board directors will come to understand that the fact that, look, they need to be involved. They need to be able to ask the right questions of the organization. They need to be able to check that the right processes, the right activities are being put in place, the right organizational culture is being created to be able to have the right set of behaviors coming in. So it's just for them to have a better understanding and not push it aside, saying that this is a technology problem, let the technologists deal with it.
CK Bruce, Chief Executive of Novari, thanks so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much indeed for having me. Thank you so much.
On the 20th of August, thank you so much. Now to the airport now. Managers of the country's airport end-to-end payment platform, GhanaLink, have rejected claims by some freight forwarders at the Kotoka International Airport that scanners have not been functioning for days now. According to the company, one of the scanners developed a fault on Monday but was rectified within 24 hours to avert any delay in clearing of goods at the country's premier port. Now, some freight forwarders have told Joy Business that there has been congestion at the cargo section of the airport due to some non-functional scanners. A development GhanaLink disagrees with. Let's hear from Northern Akwa Hayford, who is Public Relations Manager.
On Sunday, the scanner at the airport developed some kind of fault. But you'd agree with me that on Sunday, it was a bit difficult after an evaluation was done by our technical team and then the IT guys. And so certain parts needed to be replaced. And that could not be done on Sunday. So we had to wait until Monday. Further evaluation was done, and then we realized that there's some work that needed to be done. In fact, our guys had been working frantically day and night to make sure that they restore the scanner, which is at the airport, let me put it that way. And as I speak to you, Charles, so yesterday in the afternoon, the scanner came back on stream. It's working as fine as it should. And so as of today, there is no problem at the airport. Things are going on as it should. I want to apologize to our brothers and sisters, that is the freight forwarding community, but you should understand that these are machines, and you would always have machines developing fault one way or the other as they are being used. And they've been working, these machines have been working almost sometimes 24 hours because of, the cargo that comes in. So we had to quickly work, and the team, I would say they did a very good job and ensure that yesterday by afternoon, this machine had come back on stream. And so it's been working as fine as it should. We assure the community, the freight forwarding community at the airport. In fact, they have been very tremendous. They have been patient with us, and we are grateful to them for that level of patience that they've had and the commitment that they've had with us, and also joining hands with us to ensure that these things, don't happen. We are grateful to them for that. But as I have said, it was a problem, and it has been resolved. Yes, and we're grateful to them for their patience.
Now, the National Petroleum Authority has set up a committee with full backing from the Energy Ministry to review the price deregulation policy. The committee is joined as members from the NPA, the Energy Ministry, Association of Oil Marketing Companies, bulk oil distribution companies, and the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. Now, civil society groups, however, have been asked to submit proposals or make inputs. The authority's action has been influenced by recent concerns by industry players on the policy introduced in 2015. Abbas Ibrahim Tasunti is head of pricing at the National Petroleum Authority.
The issues of price undercutting have been brought to our attention But as I mentioned, MPA has a view of all the prices that oil marketing companies are buying products from the BDCs and also what margins they are putting their price board up. Where MPA sees that a company is selling at a price that is unrealistically low, we intervene. But the nature of the market is that you would hardly see anyone selling at a price that does not have a margin. If that is happening, then it means there's an illegality, which MPA is using other means to address. We have several technologies we've introduced to address illicit product trades. However, the differences you see on the price on the market does not mean that there are illegalities ongoing. It's purely because of the competition on the market. That is why you see those price variations. So if a company is buying at a lower price from a BDC and also is using a lower margin, you definitely expect that that company's price will be lower than the other competitor.
Is there a surety from you that all these OMCs are working within the band? Because some are saying that it is just unrealistic. Some are saying that, listen, there's some level of cartelism and all the rest going on.
So from our point of view, with respect to the pricing, we want to give consumers assurance that we have seen the prices, and the prices you see on the market are not something you should be worried about. They are working within what the law says, the prescribed petroleum formula. They are working within that. Whenever MPA, like I said, based on our reviews, we see that a company is pricing unrealistically, action is taken, but that hardly happens because of the level of competition. So with respect to price undercutting in particular, that is something that has come to our attention, and we are looking into that.
I get the understanding from you that now there's a committee in place looking at, because the concern in recent times is that, let's take a second look at this whole price deregulation policy. What is this committee doing? Are they looking at the whole deregulation policy, or they are just looking at aspects of it?
So, as you know, the deregulation policy came into effect in July 2015, and it's been exactly 6 years since its implementation. It's only necessary and important that we review it and see whether it is achieving its purpose. So that policy started its work yesterday. The goal of the committee is to generally review the policy and see if there are problems that have to be resolved. Naturally, with every policy, its implementation will come with challenges, and one of them is what we've mentioned, the price undercutting. It's one of the things we are looking at to see how we can put in measures to make sure that OMCs and BDCs are operating within the framework that they are supposed to work. So the price regulation policy, at the end of the day, is going to make recommendations to address some of these issues. But generally, all the stakeholders agree that this regulation policy has worked, but for the players, the BDCs and the OMCs, issues of price undercutting is a concern to them, and we are going to come up with recommendations to address that.
Some of them are worried that it appears that, looking at the way the direction of the pricing is going, they may struggle to sustain this policy. They think that the time has come for this policy to be looked at again. Would that also look at that as well, whether we should still even go ahead with the full price regulation, or we should get back to the olden days?
So like I told you, almost everyone on the committee, every stakeholder agrees that the price regulation policy is a good policy. So we are only looking at how to make it work properly as expected. So that is what we are doing. We are going to come up with how to make the policy work, but I don't think anyone so far from all the reviews we've heard, anyone wants to go back to regulation, because like you know, the regulating products have its own challenges, which no one really wants to go back to. So we want to see how we can rather make the deregulation policy work better, but not to go back to where we were when we were regulating price and leading to subsidies which government could not afford.
Finally, do I get from you that MP has taken action against some oil marketing companies from lifting because of some concerns?
MPA takes action, and I don't have the numbers, in fact, with me here, but MPA has taken a number of actions against companies that are involved in illicit activities.
Including lifting as well?
Yes.
And do I get the concern from you that it is happening and it's going to happen as long as these players fail to comply with market regulations?
MPA is not going to allow any company to go against the law. So we are here to make sure that everyone plays by the rules. And like I said, the law is being enforced. If you look at our market, our information we put out recently in terms of statistics, you see some changes in there. And it's a reflection of some of the actions MPA is taking. And if you speak to industry players, they will tell you some of the actions MPA is taking. So MPA is actually taking actions to make sure that these activities that go against natural business are not allowed to go on.
All right, you're watching Business Live. My name is Daryl Kwao. We are taking a short break. We'll be back with some more stories. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Business Live. Welcome back, everyone. Now, sales, they say, are the lifeblood of every business. There are no customers, no revenue, no profit, no business without sales. And for small businesses to extend their life cycle beyond launch into growth, there needs to be a sales mentality in every employer. And that's why Joy Business Social, our weekly online business engagement, is taking a look at the subject tonight. Odelia Ntiamwa, your host, joins me with what to expect. And interesting topic to discuss, Odelia, just how crucial are sales for any business? Looks like Odelia is frozen there. Odelia, can you hear me? All right, but there you go. That's the program tonight, a one-on-one Joy Business Social online business engagement on the topic sales. Odelia is going to host Daniel Sapon, who is a sales author. It's happening tonight at 6, that's just in 30 minutes on our social media platforms. Joy Business Ghana on LinkedIn, JoyNews on Twitter, and Joy Business on Facebook. Make a date with Odelia Ntiamwa. Now, the Ghana Statistical Service has begun training over 400 field officers to undertake evaluation of the 2021 population and housing census. The post-enumeration survey is usually conducted after the census to determine if the data was reliable, accurate, and up to international standard. At the post-enumeration survey training workshop for field officers at Winneba, Deputy Government Statistician Dr. Faustina Frimpong Angwa called for the cooperation of the general public as the exercise would give the country an accurate picture of the population. Richard Kolinyakun has more in the following report.
Government statistician Dr. Faustina Frimpong Angwa told the field officers the post-enumeration survey was an important component of the entire population and housing census exercise.
They will be deployed to go to the field and they will work in the sampled enumeration areas to be able to do a re-enumeration. We have selected questions that they will go to these households, making reference to the census night, that is 27 June, to be able to identify how many people were in these households and what was their age and a few characteristics, using that one to be able to evaluate what was done in the main activity. All we seek to do to ensure complete coverage. You know, census is enormous, huge. We've gone to all other areas. Sometimes people can call and say, I was not enumerated or other issues. This is independent to be able to measure, indeed, was there any undercount or overcount, or were there anything that was missed? And this will help us evaluate the main census to be able to know what was the coverage and, if any, the error that was committed.
Director of Social and Demographic Statistics of the Ghana Statistical Service, Antonia Muzufarian, explains how different this exercise that is going to be carried out is from the main population and housing census.
There's a difference between the actual census activity and that of the way PS is conducted, and that is why we need to train them. So we have gathered here to train them for 12 days on the method they are supposed to use to go and use and collect the data. The procedures are slightly different from that of the census, and that is the importance of this training.
Chief Technical Advisor with the UNFPA, Dr. Collins Opio, says for the Ghana Statistical Service to satisfy themselves that the exercise covered everybody, the evaluation exercise was necessary.
And once that information is collected, because it's independent, we are going to match it against the corresponding census information for those households and see if everybody that should have been covered during the census has been covered, or if anyone was missed, or if anyone was counted more than once. So that's basically it.
And that story ending Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. My name is Daryl Powell. There's more news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Goodbye.